So I repent the fact that I did not conduct CFA Level 3 mocks in the past 10 years. I think CFA Level 3 mocks मेरे को past 10 years में conduct करना चाहिए था. It takes a lot of toll. 45 minutes लग जाता है एक पेपर को चेक करने में. But believe me, the type of ground understanding that a teacher comes to have and is able to communicate that to the masses is phenomenal. So after correcting a number of papers, here I am sharing a little bit of my understanding on where students can improve, what type of mistakes they are making. So there will be a series of short audio podcast where I'll communicate the same. If you listen to it very carefully, your time doesn't get wasted because I'm not taking a lot of time, and at the same time you are able to concretely know what is it that you can fall trap into. Okay, what trap you can fall into when attempting level 3 written response questions. Listen carefully. While evaluating the papers of CFA Level 3, I have come across a number of systematic mistakes that students are making in the written response questions. This is my first short video on what the mistakes are. I'll follow up with other videos. Now, the first type of mistake is that students are repeating the facts. Now, what is the meaning of repeating the facts? I'll come to it. And secondly, students are having in their answers some missing link. Now, to explain these two, let me take an example. Suppose there is a particular write-up wherein we have to choose 1 out of 3 bonds, a floating rate bond, a fixed rate bond, inverse floater. Floating rate bond, fixed rate bond, inverse floater, even a level 1 student will understand. And the capital market expectations that are given to us is that inflation is expected to rise phenomenally. So based on this, we have to choose. So some students are writing, since inflation is expected to rise, fixed coupon bond should be avoided. Now here you have not given any logic, you have just repeated the fact. It was already given in the vignette that inflation is going to rise. So you will not get credit for the same. The second type of student is writing, since inflation is expected to rise, central bank will have a tight monetary policy. Therefore, fixed bond should be avoided. Now, this is not perfect. This may earn some credit, partial credit, but not perfect. A perfect airtight answer would be where you say, since inflation is expected to rise, central bank would have a tight monetary policy, it will raise interest rates. Hence, the denominator, that is discount rate, will go up, while the numerator, that is cash flows, will remain fixed. Hence, fixed income bond will fall, hence avoided. So you have to explain the denominator, the numerator effect to make your answer complete and airtight. I'll follow up with further systematic illustrations of how answers should be written. Okay, the next type of systematic mistake that students are making in the written response question for CFA Level 3 is they're writing out of scope. For example, suppose there is a question on implementation shortfall, जहाँ पे आपको implementation shortfall calculate करना है. And there we find that one of the components of implementation shortfall is delay cost. And you are asked over there a question, how to minimize the delay cost. Okay, one way to minimize delay cost. And what students are writing, what is delay cost? What is the impact of delay cost? How does delay cost arise? Instead of straight away answering how should a firm minimize delay cost, they are writing about all the stuff which is totally out of scope. If you were to ask me, sir, what is to be written in this answer, the overarching answer to this question is having proper trade cost management system, which means pre-trade and post-trade analysis. And suppose it doesn't get into your head कि सर ये तो बहुत टेक्निकल हो गया, याद करना पड़ेगा. In that case, obviously you should be knowing which trades are to be transferred to brokers, which trades are to be transferred to algos. For those that are to be transferred to brokers, who is the best broker for this type of trade? And for trades that are to be done via algo, which algo should be used for which type of trade? So this, if it is done in the firm proactively, if the firm knows it has classifications, it will be able to reduce delay cost. Another systematic problem or mistake that students are making in CFA Level 3 written response questions, constructive response, is that they many a time are writing general answers. What I mean to say general answers, for example, suppose our fund, okay, a pension fund or whatever, is heavily invested in the energy sector. So we want to just analyze and make capital market expectations for the energy sector in future, and therefore we are going to collect past data. So the question is, how much should be the look back period? What period should we take in the past? And in the item set, it is specifically given that around 1 year ago, the energy sector in the country has been deregulated. So an analyst who's saying over there in the item set that you should take the longest look back period, okay, and you have to comment upon that, that the analyst is correct or incorrect. People are writing that the analyst is incorrect, but the reason that they are giving is very general. Okay, let's look at the type of language people are using. The students are writing, taking a long period may result in regime switching. Now, this is not done, because one thing is that you should not repeat the facts, but the second thing is that you have to be contextual. You have to explain that if we take a long period, the fact that energy sector has been deregulated and therefore there has been a structural change, regime has changed, and therefore if we take a long look back period, that would not be representative of the future. So understand, the fact that you don't have to repeat the facts in the item set, repeating the facts does not mean that you will not use the facts and then explain what is the impact of it. Use the facts. Some people are trying to avoid the facts. किसी ने बोला था facts repeat नहीं करना. भाई facts repeat करना है, पर उसका implication लिखना है और उसको airtight करना है. Another classic case of factor repeat and not providing airtight answer is, suppose we have fixed income active management topic, where we have some spot rates as in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, and then the forecast is that all these rates are going to fall by 20 basis point. So it's a case of bull. Second is that it's given that say the 2 year rate will fall by additional 30 basis point, the 10 year rate will fall by additional 10 basis point. So it's a steepener because short term rates are falling more than long term rates. And then it's a case of a negative butterfly spread. The students are writing the logic for the bull and the steepener correctly. But for negative butterfly spread, the logic that students are giving is that because short term and long term rates are falling more, therefore negative butterfly spread. This is not a perfect answer, because this is a classic case where you're repeating the facts. The airtight answer would be where you say that the curvature is going to increase or the butterfly spread is going to increase and therefore negative butterfly spread.